Hey everybody, welcome back to DeHaven Family Farm. Today we're going to be talking about how to cut out a corn maze. So behind me is my pitiful cornfield. If you are interested in why that looks so bad, I did a video previous to this one on it, and you can check that one out if you like. We're not going to talk about that today because I don't want to talk about it anymore. So what we are going to discuss again is how to cut out your corn maze. So one of the ways that you can cut out a corn maze is you can hire a guy to come and do it. So he will have different designs that you can choose from, and has a GPS unit, and it basically, you take the measurements of your field, which you have to do anyway, and give him those dimensions, and he'll put the corn maze on the map and get everything put together with his GPS, and he'll go and cut it all out for you. I'm not really sure what that costs. We've always cut our own out. I don't really want to pay somebody else to do it. I mean, our designs are probably a little bit more basic than what you could get if you hired somebody to do it, but everybody still has a good time, and why spend the money when you can do it yourself? So that's what this video is going to be about, is doing it yourself, not what it takes to hire somebody else to do it. So the first step, as I mentioned, is going to be measuring and getting the dimensions of what the corn maze is going to be. This year, our corn maze, there's actually going to be two, one small one and one large one, and it's kind of an odd shape. So I kind of know what the dimensions of the whole field are, but this spot here that is kind of bare dirt, this is not going to be obviously a corn maze. We're going to have some other activities over here, so that's why I don't really know what the dimensions are of the maze itself. As I said, I know what the field is, but with taking some of this stuff out, I don't know. So we are going to go and measure this first. We're going to take the lazy way, which is, we have our nice measuring wheel here, and we are going to sit on this gator, and we're going to ride right on the gator, and we're going to measure. So it rolled forward on me when I picked it up. There we go. Okay, so we're starting there, and we are going to drive along here. Oh, my bad. And we're going to measure just like this. So I'm going to get this measured out, and I have a piece of paper up here on this clipboard. So this is all you really need just to get started. We have the rough shape of what the field's going to be. Somewhere over in here you can see these two little marks. That is going to divide the big one from the little one. So all you have to do right now is get your measurements all the way around. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to record all of it because it's going to be boring. You get the idea, and I will come back to you when I have all the measurements. Okay, so I got all the dimensions on this piece of paper here. So what you're going to do now is get a piece of graph paper. This is all I had here today. This is actually from our landscape business. A regular piece of graph paper that the whole thing is squares works a little better than, you know, this obviously isn't a full sheet, but it'll work nonetheless. So what you want to do is transfer the outline of your field onto this piece of graph paper. Just the outline for now. So you have to decide each one of these little squares. You have to make a scale. So depending on how big your field is and how big your piece of graph paper is, each one of these little boxes here, each length of that, you have to decide what the scale is. So each box might be 10 foot by 10 foot. It might be 5 foot by 5 foot. It might be 20, sorry, it's windy. It might be 20 foot by 20 foot. It just depends on how big your field is. So now what I'm going to do is go up the house, get out of this wind, and I'm going to sketch out the outline of the corn maze onto our graph paper. And the wind wants to blow it away. So once you do that, the next thing you need to do is, I mean, we usually look online, and we'll look at different corn maze designs, and we'll kind of pick one out. And we don't pick anything that's too awfully complicated. This year I think we're going to do a pirate ship. this year with flags and windows and stuff. I think it's going to be one of the more complicated ones that we've done, but you have to look for something that has a good amount of pathways, but don't go crazy, because cutting it out yourself, if it is just like this really intricate, almost work of art type picture, it's going to be a nightmare to cut out. So I will show you ours when I get it laid out, sketched out on this graph paper, but that's the next step. After you lay out the field, pick a shape and then work it to fit onto your graph paper. All right, so I will catch up with you guys after I get our shape and everything outlined on this paper. Okay, so we got our maze drawn out onto our graph paper here. Here is the edge of what the field looks like going around. This section here is going to be used for other activities, so that's not corn, but you can kind of see the idea here with our pirate ship. We try and keep things kind of simple. We are probably going to add some windows or something down here. We kind of have to see how it works out, but this is the general idea. So now it gives you something to follow. So now you have your dimension for your little block here, whether it's 5 feet, 20 feet, whatever. So you can find your starting point, which would be here, and then you got to mow in a certain distance. So my wife is down here. We have the measuring wheel there. She didn't help me last year, but this year we're doing something a little bit more involved, so it'll be nice to have a second person. So basically what the second person will do is you're going to want to mark out your big area first. So that's going to be our pirate ship. So I know where I'm going to start, because this is going to be the entrance to the corn maze. So what she can do is go down here and measure in, and we're going to mark the halfway point so that I can come down around, and then she'll measure up with the wheel and stand there so I know where to go, and we'll just keep going like that. She'll be able to measure these out actually in the field and stand in the corners so I know where to go, and that way we'll know where to stop and turn and go and so forth. If you do not have somebody that can help you with this, just do it a step at a time and take the measuring wheel, mark out where you got to go, and then you can just put a quick stake in the ground, drive to that point. I mean, you could mark out a lot of corners if you wanted to, so you don't have to keep stopping. But that's how we do it. Certainly takes longer than somebody coming and doing it, but it doesn't really cost us any money. We have the lawnmower over here, so we're going to get started with this, and we'll take a few clips as we go. Sorry it's a little windy. We're standing on a building here. You can't really see the shape, but you can kind of see all the pathways that are cut out. I'm going to try standing up over there on that hill and see if we could see it a little bit better, but Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something. Like I said, it's just a lot of measuring your graph paper and then measuring out as you go and cutting it with the lawnmower. So leave your comments down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.